What's up, Totem Pole Nation? This is Lambo and Matt's World of Sports coming at you with episode 26 of the recruiting trail, the Louisville Cardinals and their surprisingly great football team this year. We will highlight the recruits that will be coming to join this team, made up of a lot of transfers. Get into all of that. As always, like, comment, subscribe. We thank you for watching. We thank Sideline Sports Network for the platform. As always, let's get into it.
Well, Louisville is ranked number 50 in recruiting. They have 15 total commits, 0 5-stars, 4 4-stars, and 11 3-stars. Now, surprisingly, Jeff Brom's first year, he coached at Purdue last year. Now he's back at his alma mater and coaching Louisville. And despite blowing out Virginia Tech, they've had some very good wins this season and a bad loss to Pittsburgh. They're 7-1, surprisingly. So, with them being 7-1 and on top of the ACC, kind of right behind Florida State, better than UNC, surprisingly, please go ahead and see how Louisville will improve next season going forward.
Yeah, like you said, they only have the 50th ranked class. They have 15 guys committed so far. And like I mentioned in the intro, this is a team that was built through the transfer portal. So there's a lot of players who are seniors, super seniors, grad transfers, just a lot of guys in general that won't be here next year. There's also 2 juniors who are almost certainly going to be drafted. Ashton Gillot, excuse me if I said that wrong, and then cornerback Jarvis Brownlee Jr. So that's, 2 guys that they're losing there as well. And I don't normally just list it off like this, but the amount of guys on the roster today that won't be on the roster tomorrow, or not tomorrow, at the end of the season is crazy. On offense, 2 wide receivers, 5 offensive linemen, 2 tight ends, 3 quarterbacks, including the starter in Plummer right now, and 1 running back. This is not starters, of course. This is the entire depth chart. So like I said, that's the offense. And then defensively, 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 8 defensive backs. Nearly every single player on the depth chart is leaving next year in the DB room. So big point of emphasis there. It was built primarily on transfers anyways, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to that route this year as well. But I mean, when you look at a depth chart and nearly every single person from that one room is going to be gone, it's going to be a big focus when it comes to rebuilding. So first off, when it comes to their top 5 recruits is a 4-star running back named Isaac Brown, 5'9", 180 from Homestead High School in Homestead, Florida. He's the 19th ranked running back and the 35th ranked player in Florida. He's got great speed. He's sub 11 in the 100-meter, and he's got great hands. So, receiving back as well. And he can make people miss in the open field. The write-up on him was very long, and it just nothing but good things said about him. And he looks like he's 30 already in this picture with, underclassmen on his chest. So that tells you anything about who this guy is. He's going to be a problem. This guy right here is Joseph Stone, 4-star wide receiver, 5'11", 180 from Langston Hughes High School in Fairburn, Georgia. He's the 45th ranked wide receiver and the 37th ranked player in Georgia. He decommitted from LSU earlier this year and flipped to Louisville, and he also is a very good track athlete as well. Next up, 4-star tight end Dylan Messman, 6'5", 230 from Saline High School in Saline, Michigan. 25th tight end in the country and the 8th ranked player from Michigan who also plays basketball. So I bring this up every single time a tight end is listed, and one of his main added facts are that he's a basketball player. It is the most oversaid cliche thing about tight ends. If they play basketball, they're going to be a good tight end. It's just how it always happens. Everybody says it. And so maybe that's the case here. But every single Sunday when there's a tight end on the field that, boxes someone out to make a catch, it's like, oh, he played basketball. Let's not forget it. So, maybe that's a factor that keeps Dylan Messman at the pretty high up in the depth chart next year. Next up, running back 4-star Duke Watson. 6 feet, 180 from Mary Persons High School in Forsyth, Georgia. 36 running back in the country and the 54th ranked player in Georgia. He also runs track very fast, and he had 16 total touchdowns last year in only 11 games. So he gets the ball in the end zone. He's doing it in Georgia, which is obviously a hotbed for talent. And then rounding out their top 5, Deuce Adams, 3-star quarterback, 6'1", 170, Vandergrift High School in Austin, Texas. He's the 34th QB in the country and the 85th ranked player in Texas. Last year, he threw for 3,000 yards, 34 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions on a 67% completion rate. He also plays baseball, so you know he's got a cannon. All right, so that's the top 5, and those are positive things. Here's a little bit of a negative. So obviously they're prepping for their 2 junior running backs to be gone in a couple of years with bringing in 2 4-star running backs here. But they didn't bring anyone in that can make any immediate impacts at any positions that need an immediate help with the players that are leaving. So obviously they're going to be pretty heavy into the transfer portal again for that. But I don't personally believe that's a sustainable way. It is the future. Don't get me wrong. You're going to be hammering the transfer portal if you're a top program. But I don't think it's the best way to build a sustainable program. And then when it comes to, in-state recruiting, Kentucky isn't a state that produces a lot of top-end talent. But the top 3 to 5 guys every year are 4 stars. And this year Kentucky has all 3 4 stars from the state, when Louisville's, highest rated guy is the 5th ranked player in Sean Boykins Jr., who in his own right is a 3-star receiver, 92nd in the country and runs a 4.45 40. So he's not a scrub by any means. And that's not what I'm meaning to say. All I'm saying is when you're trying to be the number 1 team in your state, you have to be able to control the top end recruits within your state. I feel like you can go to every powerhouse in every state, minus Florida, because we've gone into that on prior episodes of the recruiting trail. But, the top schools in each state dominate the in-state recruiting. I think Louisville should maybe look into that a little bit when it comes to building a sustainable program. But I'm not a coach. I'm not a recruiter, so I can only give my input so much. That's all I've got from the Louisville recruiting class. You have any comments?
It's not really much to say because we're not sure if Louisville is going to be good for 1 year and then go back by the next year. So I'm looking forward to the consistency of Louisville and see how they can overcome losing all these guys, as you mentioned, is for next year, especially with the quarterback, the starting quarterback, and then the running backs that destroyed Virginia Tech and destroyed other teams in the past. So I like to see how teams respond after you lose a bunch of guys. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, and it's so you have no idea if you're going to hit on every guy in the portal. Like they got not lucky because I think, they did a good job in scouting, of course. But for every single transfer to hit the way that they have to get them to, the 13th ranked team in the country, that is incredible. And I don't know if you are able to repeat that year in, year out without building a solid foundation behind these transfers, which, like I said, they're doing okay in some positions, but I really don't think that they hammered positions of need very well. So you're just putting all of your eggs in the basket of the transfer portal, and that's how you're going to succeed. And that, this incredibly fortunate year is going to be duplicated with a completely different group of transfers. I just, that's it's pretty optimistic.
All right. I do agree with that. Next episode, we can like, comment, subscribe to Totem Pole Nation and Level of Match World Sports. Next, You need your merch, by the way. Go to totalpolenation.com. Next episode will be episode 27 of the recruiting trail. Texas Tech football. Now, Texas Tech has been pretty good at basketball, but this football team, despite its struggles, is still very, consistent and good. And surprisingly, they're in the top 25 as far as recruiting. But we'll let you know the next 5 minutes of episode 27 of Texas Tech recruiting. Y'all have a great night and take care of yourselves. Peace out.